Good evening. I'm Leland Vittert. On the program tonight, why President Biden doesn't fix his biggest problem, especially considering it would likely fix some of his other problems as well. Plus, airlines just keep getting worse. It's going to get even worse this summer. What they do in Europe to protect you from delayed flights that American politicians refuse to. And what the world's richest man understands about America's class divide and why other CEOs would be wise to take notes. But first, on point tonight, presidents don't get to pick their problems. They don't get to pick the issues that will define their presidency. Mr. Biden's learning that with inflation, crime, and the border. Certainly not the issues he wanted to deal with. Mr. Trump learned that, of course, with COVID. Presidents get to decide two things, and they are directly connected. How to deal with those problems that come their way, and that is defined by who deals with the problems. It does not take a deep read of the New York Times, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal these days to see the long knives are out. The anonymous quotes, the backstabbing, the positioning among senior staff at the White House. It's very clear. Shakeups are coming. Top of the list, perhaps, Ron Klain, famously seen more as prime minister than merely chief of staff. Kate Bedingfield, head of communications. Karine Jean-Pierre, the new White House press secretary, has not distinguished herself. And Brian Deese, chief economic advisor. We'll get to his latest television hit in a minute. President Trump's staff famously undercut him, and the press loved it. They ate it up, of course. The undercutters were heroes, the unnamed sources that could be quoted either on television or in print that were out there protecting democracy from President Trump. But Mr. Biden's staff actually isn't that much better, even on issues of foreign policy, where their commander-in-chief's word should be sacrosanct. Anything Mr. Biden says that seems to be a major shift in U.S. policy, an announcement by the president of what matters most to our country, well, he gets undercut.
The United States would come to Taiwan's defense if China attacked.
Yes, we have a commitment to do that.
There has been no shift. The president was not announcing any change in our policy, nor has he made a decision to change our policy. There is no change in our policy.
I think he is a worker.
He was speaking from his heart. There is a legal process that continues to be underway at the State Department.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
The U.S. does not have a policy of regime change in Russia, full stop.
Should people continue to wear masks on planes?
That's up to them.
The president was answering the question quite literally. People are not legally bound to wear masks.
There was a recent article describing Mr. Biden's foul mood about his staff, and it kind of says it all. This is the headline. It's from NBC, inside a Biden White House that is adrift amid a rolling series of calamities and sinking approval ratings. The president's feeling lately is that he just can't catch a break, and that angst is rippling through his party. Here's the response from the White House communications team. We've said before, no clarifications of the president's remarks are ever issued without his direct approval. To be clear, the answer to a story saying that the president is upset about being undercut is the White House communications team issuing a statement, once again undercutting the president of the United States. The White House press corps loves nothing more than this. A good staff war is everything for White House reporters. It's when all the leaks happen, when all the juicy quotes happen, when the intrigue happens, when everybody can meet for drinks late at night and talk about how awful the other side inside the West Wing really is. Of course, in January of 2021, things looked pretty easy for this incoming staff. Vaccines were going to solve COVID, easy. The economic recovery would produce big taxes, allowing for new social spending. And of course, all of the programs of the Great Society and the Great Experiment that so many progressives in the White House wanted to put in place. And the adults in the room were going to take care of foreign policy. It'd be easy. In fact, turnover at the Biden White House is shockingly low. By this time in his presidency, President Trump had gone through at least one chief of staff, multiple communications directors, and dozens of other aides. 66% turnover in Mr. Trump's first year, 15% in Mr. Biden's. Do the math, that's less than a quarter. And most of the people who resigned in Mr. Biden's administration left for better jobs or resigned to move up in the administration. Again, As we were told, the adults took charge and they were here to deal with the problems. Firing people doesn't fit that image. Shaking up the White House doesn't tell the American people everything is okay. And that is essentially the White House comms plan on the economy. Go out this week, they've said, and celebrate their successes, especially low unemployment. And the president is quoted in many articles as telling his staff and supporters that he feels he does not get enough credit for the good things that are happening in the economy. That plan today ran into a few issues on CNN.
We need to take very seriously that. Whoa, guys.
Our camera fell down. Okay.
Good news, everybody is okay, but denial is a powerful and dangerous drug. The real issue, the real necessity for America, for Americans, is that our economy does not have to topple over like CNN's tripod before the administration understands that we have a problem. The problem is not their messaging. The problem is the problem. That's On Point tonight. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.